Podcast 50.
Get out of town.
And I've got a quote for you.
Go on then.
I think that space can produce a higher quality of life, better security, more economic wealth, and also fulfill our citizens' dreams and thirst for knowledge.
The Interplanetary Podcast. The exploration of space for the benefit of all mankind. Your hosts here in London, Matthew Russell and Jamie Franco.
That's a good one. Who said that?
Well, Jamie, that was ESA's Director General when he was outlining the European Space Agency's mission in 2003. And that is Jean-Jacques Dordain. So, for Podcast 50, Jamie, where have we been?
I mean, it's a big one, so it has to be special. But we only hopped over to Holland, didn't we, to the European Space Agency? Yeah, just cash.
And we went to Estec.
It was so exciting.
It was.
Matt, how good a day did we have?
I think we pretty much had one of the best days ever.
We were like kids in the space candy store.
We certainly were. I have to say, it's definitely one of my favourite days of all time.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Amazing. What an absolute privilege to be there. And from the moment we walked into Estec, from Rebecca in the shop and all the other lovely ladies, we were treated like princes, weren't we? Princes of space.
I'd say I was more of a prince and you were more of a king.
No.
That's nice of me, isn't it?
Well, I like to think of me as more of a baron. You were the prince and I was the baron.
Yeah, you were the baron, definitely.
I was the baron.
Well, Matt, tell people what we got up to, because we did a lot in one day.
We found our little, what was it called? It was called Lunch Corner, wasn't it? Where we were going to interview all the astronauts that we managed to interview. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, we had a little media room. Us. I mean, that's I don't think we've ever been so professional.
No, we had a little wander around, didn't we? In the
we did.
In the sort of main building, because I was just trying to think what the name of that main building was. It's called the main building.
It's a good name for it.
Yeah, and it's the technical library, in fact, is there, and it's a really, how weird a building is it? It's like sort of really weird wooden hobbledepotch of a building.
I've never heard Hobbledepotch before.
Hobbledepotch.
I'm pleased I'm alive to have heard it.
Yeah, it's live on the Interplanetary Podcast.
Yeah.
The Interplanetary Podcast. Putting the ace back into space. And I feel we really did this week.
We really did. We smashed it.
I think that ESA should be way more famous than it is. I mean, if you went even round British people or maybe even French people or whoever around Europe and said, name a space agency, I think everyone would say NASA before saying ESA, wouldn't they?
Well, they absolutely would. And after seeing what we saw, I mean, it is a mind-blowing building, isn't it?
Oh, it is absolutely genius. But
yes.
So Estec, by the way, is the European Space Research and Technology Centre of ESA, and it's in Noordwijk in the Netherlands. But there's plenty of others. There's lots of other parts of ESA. So there's EAC, which is the Astronaut Centre, which is in Cologne in Germany.
Uh-huh.
And there's ESAC, which is in Villeneuve de la Canada in Madrid, Spain.
Yes.
I said that in a French accent when really I should have said it in a Spanish one.
Yeah, we were with you.
Thanks. And then we've got ESOC, the European Space Operations Centre, again in Darmstadt in Germany. But there is like a really, really brilliant one here in Oxfordshire in the United Kingdom called EXAT, which is the European Centre for Space Applications and Telecommunications. But it's also the home of ESA's Climate Office, and it's dedicated to space exploration and technology development.
Why haven't we been there?
I have no idea. And of course,
that should be on the list.
The Climate Office is possibly one of the most important places on Earth right now, because the one thing that we did hear is that ESA, in terms of its climate technology and science output, is the most important in the world. It's more. It has more of an outreach than NASA. So
wow,
yeah, that's pretty incredible, isn't it?
So we should totally try and get down there.
Totally. Well, the great thing is we met the director of Estec.
Clang. Full of clangs today. It's going to be.
And so we're going to have an interview with him coming up in the show shortly. We've also, in the show, got an interview with Dirk Frimout.
Possibly one of my most favourite people I've ever met. Who's just so lovely.
He was literally one of the most lovely people. And, of course, in Belgium, he's a national treasure, like an absolute legend, and to the point that where there was Frimout mania. So
it was one of the biggest queues I've seen in a long time to meet an astronaut.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
It was amazing. Hundreds of people queuing up, and then...
Well, you know what we're going to do now, Matt? We're going to make him a national treasure globally, if I know our reach.
How cool is that?
Exactly.
Jamie, do you know how ESA was formed?
I don't, but what I'd like is for you to tell me.
During just after the war, Europe noticed that a lot of its scientists were kind of going and leaving to go to the United States and the Soviet Union to become rocket scientists, because, of course, those were the places to go.
Of course.
And a lot of the scientists, and prominent scientists at the time, were saying what we should do is set up an organisation that would be similar to CERN, the European Organisation for Nuclear Research, but make it a sort of rocket one. Now, they did set up some organisations, one called ELDO and one called ESRO, so European Launch Development Organisation and the European Space Research Organisation.
Nice.
Those were happily sort of going along, and ESRO was actually... was the original partner of NASA when it came to Space Lab. Now, Space Lab is something that we'll probably hear a lot about, because that is very much one of the sort of big European projects and a kind of precursor to the International Space Station. So Space Lab sat inside the shuttle as a kind of... made the shuttle kind of into something like the International Space Station. So it's a pretty cool thing. And in 1975, those two organisations basically merged to become ESA.
That is sick.
So it's only been going since 1975.
It's really not that long.
No, and its mission is to shape the development of Europe's space capability to the benefit of citizens of Europe and the world.
What year were you born in, Matt?
1971. So I was.
So you were 4.
So it's about the same age as me, and I kind of feel
Little Matt.
Like me and ESA are linked in that way.
You are, yeah.
So it's got 22 member states. A lot of people, I think, are worried about Britain and Brexit and things like that, and how it will affect our basically how it affects our relationship with ESA. But I don't think it should. I think it's.
I don't think it should.
No, I don't, and I don't think it will, because really, it's outside of the European Union anyway. It might make certain things a little bit tricky.
But we try to keep politics out of space, don't we?
Exactly. Well, Switzerland's part of the European Space Agency, and of course isn't part of the European Union. And Canada takes part in some projects. There's Bulgaria, Cyprus, Malta, and Latvia, Lithuania, Slovakia that are all waiting to sort of join up properly, and even Croatia. So, there's lots of people, but the main players are Austria, Belgium, Czech, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, and United Kingdom.
Goodness me. What a list. That's some heavyweights. That's some heavyweight countries.
But do you know how much we spend?
Go on.
So ESA's budget is 5.75 billion euros. Which at the current exchange rate, as we were to discover, is about 5.75 billion pounds.
We didn't get much for our euros, did we?
No, it was actually very depressingly expensive. But I guess it's about 5 billion pounds, or put another way, about $6 billion is my guess.
Yes.
If you're American, you'd be spending about 4 times as much as a European on space activities. A citizen of the United States of America pays about 4 times as much as a cinema ticket. We pay about a cinema ticket.
Well, I tell you what, talking of investment, and I'm just going to go off topic slightly, Matt, but you brought up the word cinema, so don't blame me when I just say, please everyone go and see the new Blade Runner film. It's unbelievable. That's all I'm going to say, Matt. I know this isn't a review show. That's it, I'm done.
What sort of things does ESA do, Jamie?
Well, they do all kinds of things, but I mean, where would you like to start?
Well, we could do with, International Space Station.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, one of the really exciting things that was at Estec was the Erasmus Centre.
Yes.
And in the Erasmus Centre is a full mock-up of the Columbus module.
That's right.
So, yeah, the International Space Station has the Columbus module, and Node 2 connecting the module is all part of the commitment to the International Space Station, as is the European Astronaut Programme.
Are we going to put some pictures of the day up on our blog?
We certainly are. Lots of pictures going to be up this week commemorating the 50th podcast and our trip to Estec.
Absolutely, a double whammy.
The 3 initial astronauts that were chosen by ESA included Ulf Merbold. Now, what was disappointing, although we saw Ulf Merbold, he was the one person we managed not to catch up with out of the astronauts, wasn't he? But
we just missed him, but we did get everyone else.
We've got a whole heap of ones coming up, which of course will form our astronaut of the week each week, so keep listening.
Absolutely.
So, in fact, right now you should subscribe to the podcast. Make sure that you've subscribed and left us a brilliant review, and so you don't miss all the brilliant astronaut interviews we have coming up. 7 astronaut interviews. So,
Matt, if I listened to this podcast and I really liked it, would you be okay with it if I gave it 5 stars on iTunes and a really nice review? Would that be cool?
I think that'd be really cool. And not only would it be really cool, you might be one of the lucky people that we then single out to send an Interplanetary Podcast mug to.
Yeah. See, you think you were going to get nothing, didn't you? But you could get the Interplanetary Podcast mug.
Think of it as a bribe.
Yeah, it's basically a bribe.
Yeah, it's a bribe. So when was the last time the European Union chose some astronauts?
Was it 1998?
No, 2009.
Oh, that's way off.
So 2009, yeah. In 2009, it chose its last bunch of astronauts.
Who were they, Matt?
I wonder if Tim Peake was part of that bunch.
I reckon he must have been.
But then that wouldn't have taken him too long to get into space. I'm not so sure.
Someone will tell us.
So there's a few programs that ESA do. Copernicus is obviously Earth observation. ExoMars we all know about, and that's the European Space Agency's trip to Mars. And Galileo is the GPS system that they're putting up.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the latest science mission that ESA are putting out is, and I love the name of this, is the Cosmic Vision Program.
That is good, isn't it?
And that's just like NASA do with their Discovery and New Frontiers programs. ESA launched them through sort of competitive bids for those kind of programs. So the Cosmic Vision takes over from where Horizon 2000 and Horizon 2000 Plus programs, which the programs that they launched were Huygens, which was, of course, the little probe that Cassini dropped down onto Titan, Rosetta, which dropped Philae down onto a comet,
of course,
and Gaia, which we spoke with Ben Brahm about a few weeks ago, that's mapping the solar system.
We did.
So they're just 3 huge missions right there. Bang. So, each space science mission is divided into sun and solar or astrophysics missions. What's ridiculous is when you look at the list of European Space Agency missions and programs, it's pretty goddamn huge. Like it literally, you go, this is ridiculous.
It's insane.
You know, and you could just look through some of that list, and you go, oh yeah, I forgot about SOHO. Oh yeah, XMM Newton. Oh yeah, Herschel. Oh yeah, Planck Telescope. Oh yeah, Lisa Pathfinder. Oh yeah, Bepi Colombo. Oh my God. Oh, Plato. And you go,
I definitely wouldn't be doing as many yes, but I would be blown away still, Matt.
Well, I mean, it just the list is absolutely unbelievable. Let alone their involvement with things like the James Webb Telescope and Hubble Telescope and the Sentinel family of Earth observation satellites. So it's pretty massive. The list is absolutely huge. So eventually the podcast will have done a space mission, and we'll have probably talked about all of those. But always you can go back and listen to our Cassini and our Rosetta special and our Gaia special.
Don't be afraid to go back.
So anyway, I think now would be a really good time to play Franco Ongaro's, who is the director of Estec. Roll the tape.
Roll that tape.
Okay, my name is Franco Ongaro, or Ongaro. I'm the Director of Technology, Engineering and Quality for ESA, but I'm also the head of Estec, of the Estec Center, which is the European Space Research and Technology Center, the largest space technology center in Europe.
Can you tell us a little bit about what's happening today?
What we have today, it's an open day, which we do every year during the Week of Science in the Netherlands. And we open the site to as many as we can host. So unfortunately, we cannot have more than 5,000 people on site at any one time. But we usually close the registration at about 12,000, and normally we count on having 8,000 to 9,000 people on site. I think it's very important because what we do it for the citizens. And it's important that the citizens see what we do for them. And I think touching reality is very important, especially with kids. That what we do here is real. I love science fiction, but it's good to be able to see the difference between one and the other. And finally, it gives a big boost to people like us. We are about 2,700 working here normally, and there are 800 of my colleagues who spent the weekend preparing for this day. And the reason we do it is when you've been in this business long enough, your family can't bear to hear you speak about it. So this is a day in which we can talk all day long about what we do and see people excited about it. So even for us, is recapturing the magic of working for ESA and working in space.
What project at the moment is Estec working on that you're most excited about?
Well, I think possibly the most exciting for me is ExoMars 2018. That is going back to Mars with a rover, drilling underground, looking for traces of life, or present or past. I think that's one of the most exciting. But we also have fantastic science missions coming up. We have Euclid. We don't know about 87% of the matter of the universe. It wouldn't be bad to gain a few percent of knowledge. We have JUICE, who will go the tour of the icy moons. We have Plato, who will try and see what habitable planets are around other stars. And of course, we just shipped out the last of the first batch of Galileo, which, by the way, it's our navigation system and is performing 10% better than GPS at this moment. So we're very excited. All of the new phone have Galileo inside. Yeah. So it's very good. And we're, of course, already working on the next generation of that. We have some very exciting work going on in telecommunications with light transmission, using light for telecommunications, using quantum encryption on orbit, using very advanced flexible satellites able to follow the market wherever it goes. And of course, we are working on the current generation of Sentinels. We call them Sentinels because they're monitoring the state of the Earth, the climate, the sea, and we're working on the next batch, looking at the polar caps. ESA is the largest provider of climate data from space in the world. So much of the Paris agreements was based on work that we do here.
Right.
So we're very excited. And of course, of course, everything that we send to space needs technology to work. And much of that technology doesn't even exist when we decide on the mission. So we have 24 labs here with world-class capacities and experience, because you can have a good tool, but if nobody knows how to use it, you don't go very far. So, and the experience to be able to prepare these technologies, which then European industry develops, and we're gifted with an excellent industry in Europe, very efficient. And when there are problems or troubleshooting, they come back here and we help them out, and that's how we get working. Finally, we have our testing area, all of the satellites of ESA come here, get tested, and then ship out to the launch base. And right now, although we can't see it today because it's getting packaged, but we have Baby Colombo would go to Mercury next year. So we'll ship it off to Kourou around.
Sad I missed it before packaging. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's another extremely exciting mission. So no, I think we're keeping fairly busy, I would say.
Absolutely. One last question is for people thinking of getting into the space industry. What's the one thing that they should really concentrate on, or is there a broad area of things?
No, I think you have to think of space as a place, not as a discipline. So there isn't so much of course, if you're an aerospace engineer, you get a system view of things, etc. But we need electronics, we need physicists, we need astronomers, we need every sort of capability, because we ship people up there. We keep them alive. We go to the depth of the universe, and therefore, whether you're an optical expert or an electronics expert or a material expert or a chemistry expert, there's a place for you in this industry. Not only that, I think we're working on even more exciting mission for the futures. We have an agreement with NASA on the asteroid impact mission. We couldn't get it financed last time, but we're still working on it. We probably will name it Hera now, hoping it'll attract more funding the second time around. But, for instance, protecting the Earth from strikes from asteroids seems to be a pretty worth thing to work on.
Absolutely.
And that's what we are also doing.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for your time, and I hope the rest of the day goes well.
Yeah, I hope so too, especially in the weather.
Yes, yeah.
Looking slightly better now.
Thanks a million.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Thank you so much.
Nice
Cheers.
talking to you.
Thank you.
He's great, isn't he?
I absolutely love Franco.
He's great. I know we didn't have long with him. We had 5 minutes, but he was really interesting. I'd love to speak to him again.
Yeah, and he seemed very, very cool as well. He's one of those people that just oozes coolness. And he actually trained to be an astronaut himself, you know. He was actually...
Did he really?
Yeah. He was a candidate in the European astronaut selection of 1991.
I think
cool is
Franco's
that?
a bit rock and roll.
I think he may actually be too cool for space.
Yeah, that's true.
They just thought,
That's
we can't, if we send this guy, it's ridiculous.
Exactly.
So we've got another interview coming straight up, Jamie.
What?
Dirk Dries David Damien Viscount Frimout.
Unbelievable name.
Born in 1941 in Belgium, and he's an astrophysicist for the European Space Agency.
He really is.
So he got an engineering degree in electrical engineering from Ghent in 1963, and then a PhD in applied physics in 1970.
Not too shabby.
And then went to Colorado Laboratory for Atmospheric and Space Physics, which was in ESRO, as an ESRO Fellow. In 1971, so when I was born. So that's before the European Space Agency, but that ESRO coming up there. He flew up, so this is his big one, of course. He flew up to NASA's NASA Space Shuttle mission STS-45 as the payload specialist. And at that point, he was the first Belgian ever in space.
Very cool. You've got to be proud with that.
Yeah. So who else was on board his flight, Jamie?
Go on.
Was Charles Bolden, who was recently the director of NASA, and like a mega astronaut of extreme fame, and Michael Foale, another British superstar astronaut. And Michael Foale we managed to speak to later on in the day as well, so look out for that interview.
We did just casually drop that in.
Casually drop them, old Mike Foale in there. One of my favourite facts about STS-45, which was the Atlantis space shuttle, is that the footage was used in Chucklevision's episode "Kidnapped."
What? Well, now they're famous.
Yeah, I mean now he's famous. So it was Space Lab. It was Space Lab that went up on that. So during the 9-day flight, the crew aboard Atlantis operated the 12 experiments that constituted the Atlas 1, which is Atmospheric Laboratory for Applications in Science. And so that looked at all the lots of atmospheric chemical and physical properties of the atmosphere. and it was massive in terms of the science that it garnered to help us understand climate and atmosphere.
It's a good word, that, garnered.
When we talked about Michael Foale a few podcasts back, something I mentioned was the artificial beam of electrons that was used to stimulate a man-made aurora.
Whoa!
So yeah, they blasted electrons into the atmosphere
Sounds sexy.
and made an aurora up in the upper atmosphere.
I love that.
There's virtually no footage of this thing.
Matt, what band would have sung the song "Man-Made Aurora"?
Well, I like its full title: "Man-Made Auroral Discharge."
Who would have sung that? Yeah, I'll tell you what, listeners, send us your messages with what band in history would have sung that song.
Yeah, Man-Made Auroral Discharge. I will accept Frank Zappa, but now I've had that one, you need to come up with a different one.
Now you've had that, yeah. You've claimed that. Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
So by the time he'd finished that mission, he'd gone 3.2 million miles. That's 143 times round the Earth. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
And logged over 214 hours in space.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time.
While he was up in space, Prince Philip of Belgium talked to him, but his fame was so massive when he got back that he actually had a ticker tape parade in the streets of Belgium. How cool is that?
God, that's awesome. So like the Beatles.
He's massively famous. I think without any delay now, we should have a listen to this legend, because we've kind of rabbited on too much about it.
Yeah, let's let him talk.
Go, Dirk.
It's time for Astronaut of the Week.
I'm Dirk Frimout. I'm Belgian. I was the first Belgian in space. That was in 1992 with the mission Atlas 1. That is a scientific mission. I have been selected as a payload specialist by NASA, so I'm a NASA astronaut. Because I was working as scientist on space research, on atmospheric research, and that was the main subject of that mission. So there's several experiments on board. I had contributed to it before, but so I have to take care of all the experiments on board. And so that is now, after my flight, I have given quite a lot of time to promote space to children, to young people. I think even that is something that most of the astronauts feel when they come back from space. They see the enthusiasm from all these kids, that they see, that they feel that it is a task that they have to bring that to them. So what they have is a unique experience that they could live, and that they can bring them, that they, if you give this to the children, you tell it to the children, you can motivate them for studies and for and you give them a dream, and so that if they have that, then they will work better in school, I think, and try to fulfill their dream. We give the example that if you have a dream and you have a little bit luck, and you work hard, and you are committed to it, that finally you can realize your dream.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you can bring the mission to the young people, that's important, because now there are so many things that they can be distracted, and they have an idea, and then a year nadien it's something else, and they lose their dream, and they have to persevere to really do everything. If they want to realize their dream, it will never come from self.
Get it back. That's really good advice.
Yeah.
So one question I wanted to start with was, of your amazing career as an astronaut, what was the one day that you look back on as your favourite day?
Well, that is very simple. That is the 24th of March of 1992, and so when I went to space.
Of course.
Yes, that is. It took me 20 years. So when I was a a child. I was 16 when Sputnik was launched, and so I that interested to me. But they didn't speak yet from astronauts, and it's only when the NASA started the shuttle, and they were saying that they would take not only test pilots in space, but also scientists. And they gave the criteria, and I thought that I could do all this and fulfill this criteria. And then I have to myself, I said, look, I want to do it. I think that I can do it. I will do everything to arrive there. And it took me 20 years, and at the end, I was 51 years finally, and then that I was in space.
Oh, let's hope for me, yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
So obviously you're very associated with ESA. What is it how important is ESA?
Very, very important. That's like here, this technical center. There is a know-how unbelievable. So come here and work here. I worked 11 years here in Estec as well. It's a paradise. And so you have all the good scientists, the good information, and so on. So it is important what they are doing. And if you see the space research in Europe, what we spend to space research is, I think, a seventh of what NASA is spending. So that is, and what we realize with this amount is very still important. So that is surely they do good work, and they brought a lot to the industry as well. So all this the quality control and so things that are coming from space finally. So one specific that I always mention, that is quality control for software. If we hadn't had space, we would never have had the quality that we have now, because everybody has followed the rules that were imposed by
Interesting,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of talk in the press recently about whether we should be spending our money on going to the moon or whether we should be spending our money on Mars. Which do you think we should be focusing on, and which would you like to go to?
We have to go to the moon first. That's so. But I think that the goal we should have will be go to Mars. But the moon is a step that is necessary, that we cannot go. And now there's a tendency in ESA that they want to say that the space village on the moon. Well, it's a good idea, but it is not the end. They should try to already to say, yes, we will do that, but the purpose is going to Mars. Yeah. Because it's much more difficult to go to Mars. And if we just limit our sight to the moon, that are things that we have already done, of that so if you want to go a step farther then you have to go to Mars.
Should we be setting a goal for Mars with a timeline?
A goal for Mars?
Yeah.
Well, what they did to go to the moon, with what Kennedy at 61, he was saying, he committed himself to go to the moon and bring them back in this delay of the end of the 60s. Yeah. And so that has given a boom and an enthusiasm that they did it. They did it. And so when in 61, when he was saying, well, we commit ourselves to do it, the NASA did not have one astronaut. They had just Shepard, who have done just orbital suborbital flight. So, and there were so many things that they didn't know, and they say, well, we can learn it to go to the moon, and they did it. They have the Gemini project where everything that they needed to go to the moon was studied, and so then they were ready to go to the moon. It should be seen that way, that we go to the moon to do all the things that we have to learn to go to Mars.
Yeah. So moon
and not
becomes
limiting your ambition to the moon that is not what I think is good. You have to look farther. For the Americans, it's quite easy. They say going to the moon. We did that 50 years ago, and they cannot enthusiast the people for something that they could do already 50 years ago.
Right.
So they need a target that is better and that is more speaking to the people, because they need the enthusiasm of the people to support it.
Yes.
And that is a good thing, and we should in Europe not forget that if we to the moon, we did go, the Americans went to it, and it is a task that we surely can do in Europe for the moment, but going to Mars is another challenge.
Maybe the moon should be our petrol station. That's where we fill up the rockets. Then we go.
But they have to think on it now, because otherwise will be on the moon. We will have the village, and we have to start over again. All these problems that are specific to go to Mars.
Yes.
We should try to learn that now in this period.
Absolutely agreed.
They must say it's not the end. We go to Mars.
Yeah.
What is your favourite space fact? A nice, simple space fact that you can never really get your head round, or just mind-blowing that you...
Well, for me, I can always say my flight time. That is something. But out of my flight is the landing on the moon.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I was saying. That's what they know. The computers that they have at that moment is so. Compared to what we have here that's nothing.
Yeah.
And they did it. They went there and went back, came back, brought all their people back from the moon. That is fantastic.
So
that they could do
we
that.
assume then that your biggest space hero was one of those crew members?
All these crew members who have gone to the moon, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have the chance that is all that generation, the space, that is my generation. I was 16 with Sputnik, but have been live, seen live everything what happened in space up to now.
Incredible. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
So what's the one piece of advice that you've been given throughout your career that really stays with you?
Well, that the advice that they may have given, I think it's something that self-advice that I give to myself. Don't give up.
Right.
Don't give up.
Yeah.
And because many people around me, when I was 51 when I went to space, and so around me they say, don't forget that. You are too old. That you're no more good to do that, right. And so. And my idea was, as long as I think that I have a chance to go, I continue with that.
Absolutely.
I go in that direction as long. And if I cannot go in space for some of the other reason, I have nothing that I can say to myself, I didn't go because I didn't had enough effort for it. I did everything what I can to go there. And so if it's not a receipt that you cannot go, you have you live still in space with yourself. You cannot say, if I had done that, I would have been able to go. I regret.
Yeah.
No regret that you have.
Well, we're glad you carried on, because you're one of our heroes. So thank you very much for talking to us today.
Thank you very much.
That's all.
Thanks
all your
very
6 questions are.
That's it.
All 6 have been done. Can I ask one little favour? I've got one friend who comes from Belgium, and he's an avid listener of the show. Can you just say hello to Dries for me? So I can just
hello to Dries. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Hello to Dries. He'll be so pleased with that. Thank you.
I will be glad to meet him someday.
He's so lovely. I want him to adopt me as a granddad. Or me adopt him as a granddad, vice versa.
No, absolutely. There's just, when you meet someone and they're just instantly warm and you go, this guy's just so lovely and warm. It's just like brilliant. That, wasn't it? It really was.
And on top of that, happens to be a space god.
So, happens to be a man of science and an astronaut.
That's what people are going to say about me in the future, I reckon.
Well, I hope so, Jamie, because your contribution to both has been enormous.
Well, huge already.
So,
Yeah.
well, this has been a nice long episode, Jamie, and I think we should finish with an amazing space fact.
Let's do it.
About 10,000 light years away in the constellation Agila, there's a cloud of alcohol, 1,000 times larger than our solar system.
What? A cloud of alcohol?
That is, that's enough to do 400 septillion pints.
So when you say cloud of alcohol,
Yeah.
could it rain down alcohol on us?
Yeah, well, I mean, not just rain down alcohol. I said it was 1,000 times larger than the solar system. That's 400 septillion. Just so you know what septillion, that's 400 million pints of beer.
Did you do that with your pinky touching your mouth?
As always.
Well, that is a lot of cloud of alcohol and cloud.
Oh, Jamie, I should mention that I was a special guest on Spexcast, which is
Glad you said Specs.
SPEX Cast, which
Yes.
is another podcast, and it's a very, very, very good one.
Please check it out.
Yeah, no,
Brilliant.
absolutely. And I was a guest on theirs because they wanted to talk about Elon Musk's trip to Mars and the IAC. Now, I know we promised we'd probably talk about that, but I'm not going to talk about it because we just don't have time on this episode.
We just don't have time. We don't want to cram too much exciting stuff in.
But all our friends across the podcasting world have talked really, really well about it, and they genuinely know their shizzle, it would seem.
They really
so
do.
every time I open my mouth on Spexcast, I basically thought I was being really authoritative, and then it turned out that I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. So yes,
Well, you wait till they get me on. I'll show them what facts are, Matt. You know?
So yeah, those guys. Thanks very much for having me on, and it was what a pleasure to be part of that. And
nice one, dudes.
Nice one, dudes. And so a shout out to all the guys out there.
Big up yourself.
And you can go listen to that on iTunes, of course. It's Spexcast. It's out there by RIT Space Exploration.
Huge.
Just do it.
I feel quite emotional, Matt. It's the end of the 50th.
End of the
I'll tell you
50th
what,
podcast.
We now need to get to 100, don't we?
We do. Oh, I'll tell you what, Jamie. We didn't even mention that we went into the loudest room in Europe.
Oh, Matt, we haven't got time because I know how much you like to wax lyrical about this.
So, yeah.
We should save it for next week.
Yeah, we should. So,
but we've given you a teaser of that.
Look out for the pictures that I'm going to be slowly posting up on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Well, guys, it's been emotional, so please listen again next week. And
an astronaut interview every single week for the next 7 weeks.
That is ridiculous.
It's epic. Bye.
Bye.